Welcome. So this is a live stream of a practice painting of Lenny Henry. It was broken into two parts which I've spliced together, so this is a recording of that live stream. So the video that follows is just my process for painting this. Right, enjoy. Here's the deal. This weekend there is a Sky Arts Guinness World Record attempt, and we're attempting to paint the wonderful Sir Lenny Henry en masse. So you can join on the live stream on the Sky Arts Facebook page, but also I think it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. You can check that on the 28th. But there will be 200 of us painting live in the studio as well. So in preparation for that, I've been doing a little bit of practice, kind of dusting off the acrylics. So usually I paint in oil. But I'm going to be, so this was yesterday's practice, obviously not great, but that was about an hour using acrylics. So I'm going to have another bash and just keep this as a record. So it's not saying this is the way to do it, but it's just saying, you know, here's a way to do it. So hopefully if I switch over, you'll be able to see, this is my drawing board. And I've got a photograph of Lenny Henry above it, so I can, and if you look, there's a link in the description and you can go to the video where I took this photo from. So last time I just painted with a brush, and this time I wanted to try a few other things, but I'm still going to start by toning the canvas in my usual way. So just like when I'm painting in oils, I start with burnt umber. I've got a few colours here, hopefully I'll have a burnt umber here. Yeah, right. So I use a mixture. I sometimes use Liquitex, I sometimes use golden. This is I'm just going to squeeze a bit onto my palette, and then so my start of my process is generally just kind of covering getting rid of that kind of layer of white. Let's see, hopefully you can see. Right, so this is just a really, really cheap old canvas. Which I gessoed with one layer of acrylic gesso. So it should dry pretty quickly, which for an hour, I really do want that. I want it to be dry enough that I can add some layers. So that's a pretty good base to start with, and I can hopefully use kitchen roll, good old kitchen roll, to pick out there like that. So, so I've chosen a profile for this, and Lenny Henry reflected when he was talking about Maura Caster's fantastic portrait of him, which was the prize commission for last series of Portrait Artist of the Year. He liked the fact that she showed how he is now, a slightly more serious side. So I like this photo because this was him being quite pensive. Right, so I'm really just squinting and drawing, and I was going to try, compared to the Tuesday's version, I'm going to try and do a slightly bigger head. Okay. So, and just looking at the kind of overall tilt, the gesture of his head, those big shapes. And he's got some really good characteristic shapes which I find I can just squint to pick out. And frankly, facial hair is portrait artist's dream. Okay, so I'm just dipping in to some burnt umber, getting those big shapes. Look at that bit in the front. If you want to comment or ask questions live, you're welcome to, and or I'm always welcome comments afterwards, and I try and reply to everything, so you'd be more than welcome. So I'm trying to locate key features, line them up with each other. There's a lovely, in the photo that I'm using, there's a really lovely kind of rim light there. He's backlit, so his face is in a bit of shadow. I hope that when we're doing the challenge, we will have maybe a side light, which is really good for showing the structure of the face. But this is also good. So I'm looking for his eye socket shape there. Just trying to, I might swap for a slightly bigger brush. I'm just looking at relative angles of things. And this, to be honest, this is the critical bit, is finding those big shapes. And after that, the rest is almost colour by numbers. So if you look on my channel, my YouTube channel, you'll find lots of old live streams with demos. I've got a beautiful assistant waiting in the background. Yeah, would you mind turning that ring light off? I think it's very bright. It's a bit dazzling. Thank you. Thanks very much, darling. Right, now location of the eyes is also very critical. So I'm going to have a first attempt at locating his irises and eye sockets. Probably using a combination of, you might have heard of the Riley method, Riley, you know, the rhythms of the face, so you know, like rhythms going that way, this way, and the Loomis method as well. I think they all have a place. Having said that, it's probably going to look nothing like him. We fall flat on my face. Okay, so let's get on with measuring. So that's nose to ear, looks a little bit short. I think his ear comes out to here. So this is where it can be a bit tricky if the acrylics dry too quickly. It can be really stuck. Looking for the cranium, the ball of his cranium. Trying to abstract the shapes, looking for any sort of triangles that I can find, always quite good. Right, that looks a bit better. ask my beautiful assistant, is it okay now? Does it seem to be live?
Yeah.
Okay. Right, and then periodically I swap in and out when I'm painting between wiping and painting, so kind of addition subtraction sort of thing. So it's wiping out. Doesn't help if the wiping tool is got thick with paint. Let's even that out. And he's got, right, there's a nice flash of light there, which is just slightly lower than his lip. I'm kind of looking across the form. Like that, and then here, there, comes down. To like scratch that out. It's a bit of dry paper. It's just a landmark, but it's quite important when you're measuring kind of head and stuff. Get that right. And in a little while, I think I might just turn this upside down so I can check my measurements. It's one of the advantages of working from a photo that you can do that. See his cheekbone there and here. He's got this fabulous, I think this is a really key Lenny Henry feature, that raised eyebrow. Right. His temple there. For the abstract shape of his cheek. This is the really difficult bit, to be honest. This is the bit that, as I said, it's kind of make or break finding those shapes. In order to go a bit darker, what I'm going to do is, whereas at the moment I've just got burnt umber, I'm going to mix in a dark, cooler colour. Right, French ultramarine, here we come. That's my beautiful assistant there greeting you. Thank you. Looks like I haven't got that chat coming up on screen. Let me make sure. Where's that chat? Maybe it should have come up. Did it come up?
Yeah.
Okay, alright, it's just aged out. Right, so I'm going to mix a little bit of French ultramarine in, which is going to cool down and darken the burnt umber so that I can look for the dark shape of Lenny Henry's hairline. Look at that beautiful razor sharp shaving. And little or no water in with this paint. Let's keep an eye on that eye position, because I'm using it as a measure for other things like this moustache shape. One of the nice things about facial hair as well is it's a much more abstract shape, which in theory helps. Right, and he's got this really distinctive edge here where his hair recedes. Still working with the photo the right way up. Cranium, and it's nice in a sense that he's got his hair shaved so short, because again that's going to help with showing the bone structure. Although as Jay Rayner was total proof, long wavy hair is also great. So right now, let's get that frown. This bit's called the muzzle here, or is a very distinctive shape, individual, and the placement of it is important. So I never used to understand what the value was in following systems for analysing a face, and not everybody likes doing it, but I think it's great because it just gives you a key in. Now he's also got this very distinctive, which comes out, I think it comes out when he laughs as well, that crease on top of his nose. Right, and I'm going to bring that front edge out a little bit there. Oh, that's great, I've got a nice... Because this was so badly primed, and it's such cheap canvas, it's not behaving very nicely, but there, that seems to... Okay, right, while I'm winning, let's get... So some of it has dried. So I found this happened as well, and under the cameras on Portrait Artist of the Year, it's a bit of an issue. You can put in medium to slow down the drying, but then sometimes, especially if you're going to paint in oil paint over the top, you want it to dry so that you can use the oils on top, otherwise they won't sit. So it's a bit of a compromise. Okay, I'm going to go back to a slightly more subtle, warmer brown. Get his hairline up here. There. Place that this ear bit here is really handy for, you know, measuring against where it sits in relation to eyes and stuff like that. It's got a Okay, now let's look how this shape continues on down, and then I will turn myself upside down and have a look from the other way. It's got a cast shadow under here. Actually, it looks like it might be stubble, but there's definitely an edge, and there's a rhythm like that. So I'm going to make sure from that little flash there, and then it comes around to here, the edge of his jaw, because his beard is quite clipped, you can definitely see where his jaw ends there. Right, now so he's got a dark patch here, and I can look at that relative. Up there's the ear, and then down here is the collar, which is kind of level with the mouth. Okay, so that's his edge of his collar there, which comes down like that, and then he's got the white bit there. I'm not going to fuss too much about the time. It's starting to look a little bit more like Lenny Henry. Okay, and what I might do is just start picking out some of the background in green, just so I've got a distinct edge. But before I do that, I'm going to turn my reference photo upside down. And turn my canvas upside down. Right, hopefully that's back on. Okay, lovely. There. Right. So. Okay. Right, so now I've got the photo upside down. And I'm just going to look. Oh, it really helps to see those shapes. So I've got that. Mouth goes down to there. Yeah, that's good. So you can see I've not got that continuation from there up over the ear. That's a good one to have right. And the shape here is slightly more subtly nuanced. That gets some of the dark there. Sometimes you just have to commit. Right, and from that nostril slightly up forward, so he's got this wonderful crease here, which I haven't put in really. That's there. I'm going to try not to work too long upside down, but just a good bit of a check. Excuse me. I think now this is a very, very typical Lenny Henry look, that, you know, that sort of distant, it feels really pensive, this kind of distant. Looking off into the distance. Right, and then I'm looking from this edge here, how does that join up with this here? It's quite a, there's quite a plane visible there, quite a good shape. And here, again, it's those cheekbones. And his chin comes in a bit more like that, I think. Right, so I'm going to do a first pass of background colour and then turn it back. So, any votes for background colour? Green, I hear you say? Alright then, green it is. I might put a bit of yellow in as well. See if I can find a yellow paint. I don't think you need a lot of different colours. I have got a bit of yellow. I go with some, just for a bit of variety. So I'm using yellow medium azo, which is semi-transparent, and a bit more water. Okay, so let's have a few globs of that. Oh, so I was going to look at maybe masking and also using a card. So I think I might well do that for the background. So let's see. So I'm really chiselling in now, looking at the big shapes. So there's a big shape there. I'm going to put the paint on thick and then maybe push it around a little bit with a piece of card, just for fun. It's meant to be an experiment, isn't it? So it's quite nice to kind of play with giving him, offsetting the lights and darks creatively with contrasts that help pick them out. And then the next layer can sit on this. Right, I'm going to go really strong like that. I so admire those artists who just go in with a random colour, but I just don't have it in me. Right, let me try with a card. Never ever do this, so why not do it live? Right. Okay, so I'll do it with my left hand. Okay, whoa, that's nice. Nice effect. Just kind of randomises it a bit. Makes a change from the brush. Good for covering a lot of area too, I think. Right, I'm going to go wild and dip my card in the paint. Let's see if I can get that edge. What do you think then of card? Do you think it's a gimmick? Stuff like this? I don't know. Just looking for I'm just looking for where the profile changes direction. which basically sets the location of the cheekbones, that change in direction on that edge. And then again the eye, kind of do an average eye there. Okay. Let's go in here. Do you think it's ethical to bully your teenage son to watch your live stream? How are you doing?
Good.
Thank you. How much time have I got left?
What do you mean?
How long till I have to stop?
Today? What will you want? Oh, looks like someone's commented in the chat.
Oh, someone commented. Hello everyone. Oh, what does it say? I can't see that, darling.
It was from me.
What does it say?
That you should use the card technique and port. You should have used the card technique and port.
Oh, maybe I did. Yeah, it would have been good for covering large areas. Really good. I'm looking for right there, that. Okay. And I just need to locate the top of the head. Right, so halfway is about just below his eyes, so yeah, that's about right there. Okay. Let's get a bit, this is all getting a bit dry here. And then I'm going to turn it upside down again, turn it the right way up I mean, and that will, moment of truth then. Right, yes, you can see that edge there. Okay, right, let's go back, other way up. Liam, could I have a hand, darling?
Mm-hmm.
Could you hold this? Thank you. Oh, hello, mouthful of moths. Just a practice of Lenny Henry. Thanks, darling. How are you? Do you paint? Nice to see you. I'm languishing down the bottom of the almost no viewers. Luckily, this just gets me painting. Right. Okay, so let's look then at right, some more edge. So it's just approaching it again. I think I've got to get a slightly different location for the edge of that hair. I think that doesn't start till there, and it's slightly more down. Right. And this comes up here slightly more. Right. I'm just going to attack it again then. Okay, so let's go for some darker darks, and then I should put in some lighter lights. Like that eye, that ear area, still not quite right. Chip it in a little bit more. Okay. Right, so I'm going to go and mix in a little bit more. Quick question, who's Lenny Henry? So Sir Lenny Henry is a British comedian. and he is going to be the subject of Sky Arts Portrait Artist. They do Portrait Artist of the Year, and he was the model for the prize-winning commission that Morag Caister did last year. But he's a comedian. He's about my age. He was one of the founder people in Comic Relief, and has been on our screens basically all my life, and has recently turned to well, he's always done writing, but he's got a short series out at the moment that he's written called Three Little Birds, that is on a TV channel, ITV I think, and I haven't got to watch that yet, but it's based on the experience of his mum and other people from the Caribbean coming over in the Windrush. So I've just been listening to his autobiography, which is fantastic, highly recommended. Anyway, here's Sir Lenny Henry, and an absolute star. And having been a kind of giant of comedy, and I don't know if he would say that, I would say not quite slapstick, but quite a kind of very upbeat comedian. He's now very welcome taking on maybe a more overtly pensive kind of role. Hope that answers your question. Anyway, he's absolutely great. I would Google him. He's a fantastic person. Really nice to. It's been really nice listening to his voice. He does fantastic impersonations as well. If you look at some of his old stuff. But he's really trod the boards in stand-up comedy too. He seemed to be an extremely thoughtful model for Morag. When you're painting people, oh yeah, do. When you're painting people, thanks for the question, by the way. It really helps if it's a bit of a sort of collaboration with the sitter and the artist. And he seemed, when Morag was painting him, to really get that and really help her. So do you paint? There's going to be a world record, Guinness Book of Records world record attempt on Sky TV on the 28th, and that is going to be painting Lenny Henry. They'll be streaming that on there, more in a sketching mood. Well, sketching is great, underrated, probably the most important thing for getting. What are you sketching? What do you like? Do you sketch portraits or other stuff? Right, now this is reminding me that something else I'd planned to do was use a pencil, because we're allowed to, and also we're allowed to right, I don't want iridescent white, but I could do with a white.
They've replied, have we?
Pardon?
They've replied.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. About sketching?
Yes.
Yes, I saw. I was just addressing that.
Yeah.
Right, I can't find the white. Oh, here we are. Right, I'm going to just use a bit of white to get those colours in his beard and on the top of his shirt. Let's put a bit of pink shirt in. Yeah, sketching is great. That is, I mean, you could say that's what I'm doing now. I know it's using paint, but it is sort of painty sketching. Okay. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Stephanie. I'm really happy that you can see me on Facebook. You've done your 4th practice today. Gosh. That's proper practice. That's very avid. This is only my 2nd practice, so I really shouldn't have done it on screen, but hey ho. I'm not really timing it. Oh, thanks a lot, because my first bit of my stream, for some reason it just didn't seem to be working on Facebook. I don't know what happened, but right, I'm going to go in with a bit of, so you can see as soon as I add any white in the paint, it just changes completely. Nature. Ah. Oh right, okay. So do you go outside then? So Steph, should I call you Steph? So Mouthful of Moths saying they paint. Yeah, I did practice on the show. Yeah. Yeah. So outside is a really good plein air, you can call it. Although some people think you could just call it painting outside. I'll probably fall into that group. So you're like me then, Mouthful of Moths, because some people are really intrepid with their outdoor painting, and they do. They go in all weathers. That ain't me. Where are you then? Are you in the UK? Well, Stephanie, the other thing is I wasn't practicing in acrylics and Portrait Artist of the Year, apart from that underpainting. So this is really different. Right, I'm going to put some pink on my palette. Oh, you're in Germany. Oh, cool. Hello, Germany. Do you know what? I have never been to Germany. I'd love to go. So yeah, you've got weather like us then, I suppose. I used to live in Dubai. I lived in Dubai for 3 years, and it really made me appreciate wind and rain and blustery weather. So do you think you'll be able to watch the programme then? Mouthful of Moths? Right, let's get some pink on. Random pinky bits there just to show. It doesn't have to be accurate. Yes, I agree, Stephanie. Very, can I call you Steph? Is that right? I'm also, sometimes I like acrylics. I like because you can mix them with drawing. I like that about them, but oh my goodness, do they dry quickly? Ooh. Right, and I'm going to look for a little bit of colour, and I can see a pink, a few little pink bits there and there. I'm going to try and do like a la Morag and pick out some areas of colour rather than... Thank you, Steph. Always in trouble. Yeah, I think it's a shame. I don't know. I suppose you can't get. I don't know if you can get Sky Arts in Germany, but every time Sky publish anything, they always get a raft of people asking if they would please broadcast it in the US or abroad, because I think the show's really popular. I think they actually might have sold the format to, I think I saw it was a Scandinavian country, which looked as though they had the format, so maybe they're...
You can get it.
Oh, Leon says you can get it in Germany, apparently. Right, that's a bit too pink. No. I think I'm going to go for a little bit of... I'm going to try and get the sclera of his eyes, because that will help locate. So that's there, I think. And it's always so easy to do them too light. So I'm just using a grey. That's there. And I'm going to go in with I'm going to warm up that white a little bit. I had a bit of yellow. Let me just put a bit more yellow. So I'm going to mix a little bit of yellow with the white just to get that rim light on the edge. It's so different using acrylic. So with oils, you start with the darks and work to light. How are you getting on with them, Steph? With acrylics? Got any tips? It is nice though. I like doing acrylics occasionally. I did my portraits for NHS Heroes painting with acrylics. It's good to mix it up, isn't it? I'm not watching my time either, Steph. It's probably gone over. Neil's probably got more than he bargained for. Right, and now I think I need to, just looking at the tonal value, I need to really bring this down, his face. So now I've got the structure. I'm going to try and do that without using, so I'm actually going to mix a sort of pot of flesh tone just to try and kind of fill it in. Keep the paints wet with a spray. Still finding it hard to get a solid colour on, but now using a larger brush. Oh right, yeah. Do you know what? I have got a spray. Let me do that. That's a really good reminder. Ta-da. Going in. Right. I'll try not to spray my tablet or PC. Okay. Right. Thank you. Top tip. Right, so I'm going to do quite dilute. Let's try that. Yeah, that's not too bad. Not really, for likeness, I don't think that colour, hue is an issue, really, but value is really critical. Shape first, then value. Yeah, thanks, Steph. That's really great. I think that's really helped, having it a bit wetter. Steph, I wish you could just come here and paint this with me. Wouldn't that be nice? So, Mouthful of Moths, do you ever paint your nature indoors? Like, do you bring stuff in and paint still lifes? I've recently had a bit of I really love still life. It's definitely, I'm a born again still lifer. go slightly more opaque. Much more fun than in my kitchen. Dogs aren't very good at art. What's your dog status then, Steph? What sort of dogs have you got? I like to paint my oh! Yeah, painting mess is great. I like painting a bit of chaos. It's really good. Good subject. So my plan is, from here, I'm going to go in with a bit more, a little bit of dark. I'm going to mix up some black and go in with that. 2 Hungarian wire-haired Vizslas. Now Vizslas, I'm trying to think, are they big? Leon, can you show me a picture of a Vizsla so I know? Thank you. Right, my helpful assistant is going to get me a picture of a Vizsla up so I can see. I think they're lurchers, but I'm not sure. Thank you, darling. Incoming. Let's see. Oh, they're beautiful. Oh, right. So they're very like Weimaranas then to my uneducated eye. Thank you, darling. Okay, right, I'm going to mix up some black, which I just do. I tend not to use pure black, just use black and, French ultramarine and burnt umber together, and then you can control it. Oh, yes, wire-haired ones, shaggy, beautiful. I've never seen yeah. And are they, you didn't say what colours, see. Right, Stan and Ollie. Nice. I love other people's dogs. I like going on dog walks with friends. There was a beautiful Weimaraner in our life, vicariously called Hamish. He was lovely and grey. Liked his squirrels. Does Stan and Ollie like squirrels? And do you ever paint yours? Sleeping dogs make great subjects. Right. Carry on with this addition and subtraction. So it's going to be interesting. This is really quite wet now. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to draw on it. Which will be a good lesson if I can't. like your dogs like cats. Ah, right, okay. So that means we may have to meet without our pets then. Oh, yeah, it's a nice. I love painting pets and children, partly because the painting process takes you back to the moment you were with them. It's lovely for that point of view. Even if it's a still life, it takes you back. Right, I'm going to have to let my beautiful assistant go because I can tell his patience has reached rock bottom. And he's been very good. Do you want to go, darling?
It does.
Yeah. Do you want to come on screen and say goodbye? Here is my middle child. This is Leon.
Hello.
So Leon is, what's your YouTube channel? Genty.
Leon's Empire.
Leon's Empire. Have a look.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Oh, thanks a lot, darling. Thanks
Thank
for your
you.
help. Okay.
Enjoy the
Great.
live stream, everyone.
Right. I'll tell him you said that. He's gone. That's nice. Thanks, Steph. I'm going to have to stop fairly soon because this is well over. I suspect I've gone over the time. So are you doing any more practice then, Steph, before the event? Oh, and by the way, mouthful of moths, you can join the Guinness Book of Records record attempt. So what they're going to do, it's on the Sky TV Facebook page. It's, I think, is it 2 o'clock, Steph? I think if you go on Eventbrite and look for Sky Arts, there's an Artist of the Year Eventbrite that you can follow, and you can register, and you can join the challenge. Oh right, 1 or 2 more, yeah. Well, as you can see, I need 1 or 2 more, most definitely. Yeah, so you could join the challenge, and you can take, I think they'll give screenshots. You can take screenshots, and or they'll supply reference photo from the day. But I think the main thing is that it has to be painted in an hour on the day, and that way, that was a bit of a disaster. That way, therein lies the record. I don't know whether anyone else is actually, whether they're just starting a new record or whether this actually already exists. Okay, and I can also use that black for his shirt for these bits here. So there's a section there which is particularly going to pick out his neck. So what do you need to work on then, Steph, when you're doing your practices, remaining practices, I wonder? Is it just getting more use on, starts at 2 o'clock? Oh great, thank you. Thanks. My goodness, can you hear that herd of elephants? That is Leon walking. That's how he walks. Okay, and then the light is really catching the top of his hair, creating almost a sort of ginger highlight up there. Lovely. Up here. Going quite far down here. I don't know if Lenny Henry would identify as a silver fox. What do you think? His cheeks. Getting the eyes right more accurately, yeah. And highlighting the curves. So I think they've said we can take photos, can't we, on the day? Are you going to be trying to work from life, or are you going to... work from photos, Steph? I don't think I'm going to try and work from life, to be honest. With 200 people in the room, I think even an optimist like me would have to concede that that is not going to be conducive to a decent view. I'm going to just get a bit of a much more white and get that lighter. It's in shadow, but it's got a little bit of light on it here. Let's try and get that lighter colour. I don't want to go too light. But as you mentioned, cheekbones, Steph, that's a real good reminder. I read as well that we have to fill his portrait with about, yes, take shots and look for shapes like you, but my eyes won't see that well with two. No. Yes, so I'm guessing 90% of the canvas, presumably not 90% of the canvas with his face, do you think? Although I think just paint, but I don't know, maybe it is, maybe we have to put, what do you think? I'm sure they'll remind us on the day. And do you know who else is coming? Frances, what's her surname? She won the purchase prize at the ING 2 years ago. She does, what's her surname? It's gone, my mind's gone blank. She's absolutely lovely, fantastic artist. Anyway, she's coming. So that'll be nice. She paints from life a lot in oil. She does great figures in oil. There's that. And I suppose you've been doing timed things. Oh, head and shoulder. I don't know. Did they say anything on the correspondence? Yes, so I'm also hoping there's the home exhibition with some art can artists is also on in Brixton. So I'm hoping to pop over to that if I possibly can. Not least because yesterday's got something in there, and various other people who you don't have anything in that, do you, Steph? Are you an art can artist? Maybe you do. one. I would say this looks even less like him than my last one, but I'm going to keep going for a minute. Just try. Quite enjoying our chat. Got Alexa to time me. Oh, that's a good idea. What Alexa? I did with my Portrait Artist of the Year ones. Practices. I definitely used timing. Right, now I need to get this mouth shape right. So I think this has gone, oh yeah, this is just hit the hour mark, I think. And I did a little bit before. So, but maybe I'll get a little bit of leeway for having chatted. That's a dangerous assumption, isn't it? Okay, now I'm going to try my pencil. I've got to reply that portrait can be full body or head and shoulders, but it does. Oh right, okay. Okay, well that's good to know. So now I'm going to turn the canvas and do some drawing to tighten up some of the shapes. Do you turn yours upside down, Steph? I don't think I should, I'm not sure, I think it's fine to show this image on the stream, but I haven't, just because I didn't want to have any copyright issues. But, right, so, nose, that's that. I'm just kind of, yeah, taking advantage of the control. So they did say we can bring our own pencils. I think you and I might have had this discussion. So I'm hoping that means we can use them on our canvases, because I don't suppose we'll be using them for anything else. So what do you say? No, but you should. Are you talking about art can? I'm so much more comfortable with a pencil. That's what I did like actually about acrylics. I mean, ideally they need to dry, but being able to add in a bit of drawing like this makes such a difference. And you can put I think I'm going to put some highlights in at the same time, I think. Go for the white. Should turn the canvas. Oh right, okay, yeah. Well, I think it doesn't. It only works if you're working from a photo. I think this turning upside down. And I think some people think it's cheating, but I don't know. You can't really please everyone, can you? His sclera, I think, is slightly lighter, especially that one. Probably too much, but then I can take it down. Oh my god, acrylics are just so weird. I wonder what, I suppose they probably did have to say acrylics, didn't they, because they can't have all the mess. I did have a moment in Portrait Artist of the Year when one of the crew kind of looked at me in despair. Oh my goodness, I'd got it all. It was like on the, like dropping onto the floor. I just couldn't. I was just so busy focusing on the painting that I just didn't even really register. And I was thinking, oh my goodness, you have to clear all this up. So I could see why they'd want to steer clear of oils and you know, all the fumes and everything. It's probably good. Yeah. Weird, huh? Right. Let's go and shape this eye. So what I really haven't got this time, hopefully maybe this will do it, is those lovely, he's got great eyelids. Do you think, Steph, the hoods of his eyelids I think are fantastic. Oh my goodness, I've just had a horrible thought. I hope when they're filming they don't interrupt us. Bet they will. Do you think? Do you think they're going to want to talk? I bet they will. I've had a lovely comment from Jay Rayner on my blog. Such a nice guy. He was such a great sitter, wasn't he? So I don't know if it came across on the filming, but he really, really did seem to want us to do well and was prepared to curtail his own comfort and... Yeah, the hoods. Yeah, they really are. Your Tuesday class. I love it. Yeah. Sounds like From the Mouths of Moths is also messy. Maybe it just goes with the territory. What do you think? Oh, I could just, oh, that nearly fell off. Could maybe draw some of those shapes. That's a good, do you think that counts as covering your canvas if you just like draw a few shapes on at the end? Yeah, Jay was great. Right, and then I'm going to do a final bit of final bit of background. Just need to catch that into that nose, make it a bit better. There. It's been really interesting going on some of the Facebook groups that have they're like the fan groups. I don't know if you ever do that. I'm nearly finished, by the way. Thanks for sticking with me. It'd be a very lonely place if you hadn't been here, Steph, and Mouths of Moths. to get that card out again. That's on the very edge. Oh, you're. What, those Facebook people? Oh yeah, so what I was going to say was, they are incredibly harsh on things like, well, I find them a bit harsh. Like people like, they love Christian Hook's Portrait Artist of the Decade, which I did think was really excellent, so I'm not criticising that, but they are quite harsh sometimes. They don't pull their punches with, you know, I mean, I know these people, they don't owe anyone anything, do they? So they're allowed to be, but I just find, I don't think it's always obvious how much artists put into their work, you know, of themselves, and sometimes, I don't mind when it's directed at me, but sometimes I feel a little bit protective when it goes at other people, especially young artists who. Anyway, right, I'm going to stop. Well, if you're talking about this session, Steph, I would really thank you so much. I would hesitate to call it educational, more like how not to do it, but anyway, here we are. That's the finished version. Gets the most yes, it does, it really does, yeah. So the fabulous Lenny Henry, I'm so looking forward to meeting him. So I think, yeah, I don't know how they're going to arrange it, but it's going to be exciting, and exciting to be around all those cameras and things again. I really quite like them. And I love what they're doing in terms of keeping portraiture around, like getting it out to people who wouldn't normally try. And in fact, the fact that people just have a view is good. It's good, isn't it? Even if it's a view that the artists might not benefit from hearing every day when they're having a low spot. But, yeah. Right, well, Steph, thank you so much for joining. It's really nice. And from the Mouths of Moths, if you're still there, and anyone else who's watching, thank you if you're watching on playback. And I'll see you on Instagram. Have a good afternoon. I don't know if you can hear my tummy rumbling. Right, I'll get to the end screen. See you. Bye.